Well, hey guys, I'm back with another video today, and today we're going to be talking about the much anticipated 2020 NHL draft. Obviously, this is a draft that a lot of people have been excited about for a while now, considering how deep it is and how many great prospects. And the thing that really is intriguing to me is how many guys, whenever the NHL gets restarted again, how many guys are going to make their teams right out of camp. Usually in a draft, usually maybe the top two, top three make it out of camp and stick with the team. But it'll be exciting to see how many guys can get past that. Well, for the junior guys, anyways, get past that 9 game threshold and stick with their NHL club the whole season. So without further ado, let's get right into some of the prospects. Obviously, Alexis Lafreniere, he's he doesn't really need much of an introduction. He's very skilled, lots of speed. He's looking more and more like a guy who could be a generational talent. I don't really know if he's definitely probably not Connor McDavid. I don't know if he'll ever be Connor McDavid at any point. That's quite a high bar to get to. But it sounds like he's going to be a really good player. I personally haven't really seen him play, but I've heard a lot of great things about him as I'm sure a lot of you have. As for Quinton Byfield, I think he's a guy that a lot of teams would really desire to have on their team. Obviously, he's a big centerman, especially for teams that need help at center. Um, he's a big centerman. He skates really well. He competes hard. He has a terrific release on his shot, and it sounds like he's a really good guy too, a good character guy. So that's the type of guy every team would want. That's the guy you want to build your franchise around, and I'm sure a lot of teams will be excited at the chance of getting him. And then we have Tim Stutzel, who I think is going to go probably third. I would say. I think he's. I think he's a guy who's got a lot of speed, a lot of skill. I've heard people say that he's maybe more ready than Byfield just because he's played with men in the DEL in Germany there. I guess I'm pretty sure that's what the league's called. Um, it's short for something anyways, but so he's played with men over there anyways, and some people think, oh, he's more ready because of that. But I don't know. I mean, I think Byfield, just because he's played in the OHL, I think he could be just as ready, if not more. I mean, he's obviously he's built like a man already. He's a man amongst boys probably there in the OHL, considering his size. I think he's like 6'4". He's over 200 pounds. I forget the exact weight, but I know he's over 200 pounds, and he's still probably growing into that frame of his. So you can expect him to get even bigger. And I think once he fills out fully, it'll be pretty scary what his potential can be there. But I think I think it's going to be a really intriguing draft, and I think what the top five might look like is maybe something like this. I think obviously now I know there's been some talk that the Rangers have been kind of, I don't know if they're trying to tease everyone or what, but there's been some talk that they're on the NHL side, it says, oh, they're mum on who their first choice is going to be. I mean, come on. I think we all know who their first choice is going to be, and as much as I love Byfield and Stutzel, I think Lafreniere goes first overall any day of the week, and I don't really know if that's very debatable. As for who I think goes at two, I think I gotta go with Quinton Byfield. As much as I'd love to see him drop to my Ottawa Senators, I don't think it's gonna happen. I just think with the way he's been scouted, the scouting report on him, I mean, how can you really pass up on that if you're LA? And I know a lot of people say, oh, they got some help at center. There's been some arguments that they might take Stutzel. Stutzel does play some center, but I think I could see him probably breaking into the league as a winger more than a center, just because I don't really know if you want to throw a young guy at the center to put him in the center ice position if he's more of a natural winger than a center, even though some sites do have him listed as a center. So that'll be interesting too to see what happens with him there. But as for Byfield, I think he's a player that LA probably won't pass on. I mean, and they still have some good guys left there too. Obviously, Kopitar, Doughty, Quick. He had a bit of a down year, but maybe he can bounce back for them too if he sticks around. I don't know. I think LA's they'd probably take Byfield, and imagine having Kopitar and Byfield as your 1-2 punch down the middle. I mean that'll really change the dynamic of the Kings, obviously. Then at number three, I think the Ottawa Senators probably take Tim Stützle. I think they either take Stützle or Byfield for sure. I know they're taking who they're taking at number three pretty much, because Dorian came out and confirmed that, you know, they're gonna do whatever LA does. Like they're gonna take the prospect that LA doesn't take pretty much. So that should be interesting. And then at number four, I mean, this is where it gets interesting. I think the top three is pretty much set. So it's gonna probably be something like Lafreniere, Byfield, Stützle, or Lafreniere, Stützle, Byfield. Any way you want to slice it, that's what those three guys are going in the top three for sure. I believe. I think a lot of people probably believe that. A lot of scouts too around the NHL. I think it's pretty easy to determine who the top three is going to be this year. As for the next pick at number four, this is where it gets interesting. I mean, do the Detroit Red Wings, do they take Jamie Drysdale, the defenseman? I mean, I've heard it bandied about that Jake Sanderson, another defenseman, more of a defensive defenseman. And I'm going to get to him too in a bit. There's a little something that bothers me as a Sens fan about people talking that the Sens might take him at 5 potentially. And I mean, I'll get to that in a bit. But as for who I think Detroit might take, I could see them taking either one of these three guys, Jamie Drysdale, Lucas Raymond, or Cole Perfetti, the centerman. I mean, Detroit, obviously maybe they want some help at center. I mean, let's face it, the Detroit Red Wings were really bad this year, like historically bad, and they need a lot of help everywhere at every position pretty much. So I'm gonna say they take Cole Perfetti though at number 4. And at number 5, I'm gonna say the Sens. I don't know. Look, I could really see them taking Jake Sanderson. I really hope they don't. Pierre Dorian, I know you're probably, this channel's really new, and I know you're probably not going to stumble upon it anytime soon, if ever. But please don't take Jake Sanderson from a passionate Ottawa Senators fan, a Sens fan who I've been a fan for almost 8 years now. There's been some exciting times, some very rough times to say the least. Please don't take Jake Sanderson. Please, you got to get both these picks right. This is really could be a franchise changer this draft day tomorrow. So you take either Stützle or Byfield at 3, and you take Lucas Raymond at 5. I think Lucas Raymond, maybe Marco Rossi, maybe even Jamie Drysdale. I don't know. Some of the things, his inconsistencies maybe bother me a bit. I don't know. Maybe Ottawa should steer clear of that. I personally think they should take 2 forwards anyways, but you definitely don't take Jake Sanderson. I think Sanderson's going to be a good player before people jump all over me and say, oh, you're dumping on him, you're not giving the kid a chance. I think he's going to be a good player, but I mean, is it what Ottawa really needs though? And do you take a player, he's a good player, but do you take him at 5? Maybe if the Sens were picking at, I don't know, in the 8 to 12 spot, you take him there, I think definitely. But just because the Sens were one of the worst teams defensively, that's not, oh, let's go get another defenseman. Like, we got to get this right. They need scoring. Obviously, their scoring was a little bit off this year. Their defense wasn't good either. Their goaltending, I think, if they can get some good goaltending, that'll definitely help their defense next year. But you don't take Jake Sanderson. I'm sorry. So, anyways, I know I'm rambling on here, but long story short, don't take Jake Sanderson at 5. I think it's ridiculous. And I know this went from being kind of a draft video, and now towards the end it's been a bit more of an Ottawa Senators oriented video, but there's also been talk about the goalie Askarov going in the top 5. I mean, if you're Ottawa, you don't take him either. I think he's going to be a great goalie, but I mean, they have some help already coming in the goalie pipeline. And I don't know if you want to take a goalie at 5th overall. I know we've seen in the past, I believe Carey Price went 5th overall back in 2005. But I don't think it's something we really see much of nowadays. I think they should steer clear of that as well. So here's to hoping the Ottawa Senators make the right decision, and here's to hoping having a fun day or a fun evening, I should say, at the draft. And please like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys